What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Back with yet another schedule preview and record prediction video. And today we're going to be going through the 2020 Louisville Cardinals. Louisville was a team in the ACC last year that no one really expected to do all that well. And I think surprised quite a few of us and actually did fairly good last season. They were a better team than what a lot of people thought. And this year they're returning in what my opinion is going to be some of the best players in their position of college football, with quarterback Malik Cunningham, and then one of the best wide receivers in all of college football in Tutu Atwell. And if those guys can stay on the same page this year and really get some plays and some routes developed, Louisville is going to be a dangerous team. And then to add on top of that, their defense gets better. Again, Louisville is going to be a very fun team to watch. So let's see if Louisville can dethrone Clemson in the ACC division, get to an ACC championship game, or if Louisville is going to fall just short and have a disappointing season this year. So here's the schedule for the Louisville Cardinals. You'll look down there. Their 2019 record was 8-5, so they went 7-5 in the regular season, highlighted by, at the time, a win against what was a ranked Virginia team. They had some other pretty good wins in their schedule as well. The last game of the season, though, was a crushing loss to Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky absolutely smashed Louisville. It was not fun for Louisville fans. And in their bowl game, they beat Mississippi State to get to 8-5. They beat them in the Music City Bowl by they killed Mississippi State in the bowl game. So that's how they got to 8-5. Look up there, their home games are going to be in the Cardinal red, and their away games are going to be in black. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at their schedule. First game of the season is a Thursday game against NC State. So NC State last year was a team that everyone expected to have a down year, and they did, but they had a worse year than people thought. I mean, people thought NC State was going to decline. They really declined. They had a landslide of a season. It was not a good year for NC State. I don't see a whole lot of that changing this year. Maybe they can improve a little bit, but overall NC State to me is not that good of a football team this year. I like Louisville to win this game. Then it's a tricky one in week 2. Got to go on the road in Death Valley and play the Clemson Tigers. So this game maybe got a tad bit easier for Louisville because Justin Ross is now not going to be playing in the 2020 season. He is having neck surgery, and he is done. Maybe it could be a little bit easier for Louisville, but overall, Louisville's got some great talent. But when you look at Clemson, they've just got far and away the way better talent. And this game is being played in Death Valley, which to me this game is a no-brainer. I will take Clemson every day of the week. I think Louisville maybe could make it close for a quarter and a half, but after that, I see Clemson being able to pull away from Louisville in this football game. Then the next 2 games for Louisville should be relatively easy. Both of them home games, respectively, against the Murray State Racers and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Murray State should be an easy win for Louisville. They're an FCS team, so I don't see the Cardinals having much trouble. Then they got to play Western Kentucky. So Western Kentucky is an interesting team. They're always around 7-8 plus wins every single year, and I just expect more of the same from Western Kentucky. Again, I don't expect them to be terrible, but I also don't expect them to be a great surprise team this year. Again, just a nice average 7-5, 8-4 year I expect for the Hilltoppers, and I just think that Louisville's got way too much talent, and they're not going to have a problem with Western Kentucky. Then a road game against Syracuse could prove to be a little bit difficult for the Cardinals. I mean, it's on the road in the Dome. Syracuse has pulled off some upsets in the past. Of course, we all remember them beating Clemson in the Dome. That was a fun game to watch, and Syracuse ended up beating Clemson, as I just said, in the Dome, and they pulled off some other great wins in that stadium. But Syracuse overall is a team that I just do not find that great this year. They got 1 or 2 good players on both sides of the ball. On offense, they got quarterback Tommy DeVito, and then they got one of the better cornerbacks in all of college football. But other than that, Syracuse just does not have all that great of a talent. I'll take the Cardinals in this one. Then a road game against Boston College. So Boston College is losing their running back, A.J. Dillon, and he was part of what was the best rushing attack in all of college football. Sorry, that's gone now. A.J. Dillon and the best rushing attack, not in college football, in the ACC is gone. And I don't expect Boston College to be able to recover this year from the loss of A.J. Dillon. They're just losing so many other guys on offense and some production on defense as well. Boston College is going to have a down year from what Boston College fans have seen in the past, and I'm going to give Louisville a win against the Eagles. So then they got their bye week, and to me, this is it's an almost perfect spot for a bye week, and I'll tell you why. It's perfect in a way that it splits your season in half, like a lot of teams have been doing recently. It just kind of has worked out that way. But I think it could be better because if you have your bye week 1 week later, it puts it in between a really tough stretch, and their second half of the season is definitely more difficult than their first half of the season. Yes, they have Clemson in the first half, but when you look at those games in the second half of the season, there are a lot of tricky ones, and if you're not sure why, I'll tell you why here in a second. But overall, this is an almost perfect place for a bye week. Then they get a home game against Florida State. So Florida State is going to improve this year. They're returning their quarterback, James Blackman, and a lot of other weapons surrounding James Blackman are coming back. Defense maybe could use a little bit of work, but the offense should be one of the better ones in the ACC, especially now that they got Mike Norvell at head coach. And we all know what sort of offense Mike Norvell put together when he was at Memphis. That team was scoring 40-plus points, it seemed like, almost every week. That team just could not stop putting the football in the end zone. They were absolutely insane in scoring the football. So now he's bringing that offense to Florida State and what I expect to be an improved Florida State team. This is going to be a good matchup. It's a very fair, equal matchup. Both quarterbacks are going to improve from where they were last year. I think I'm going to slightly favor the Louisville Cardinals in this one, just because I feel like Louisville's just got a little bit more talent, especially on the defensive side. So, yep, I'm going to favor Cardinals against the Seminoles. Then their next game on Halloween, they're going to face the Virginia Tech Hokies. This one I could see going either way. Virginia Tech is also returning a quarterback wide receiver duo in Hendon Hooker and Trey Turner, the quarterback and wide receiver in that order respectively. And to me, whichever quarterback duo plays better in this game, that their team is going to win this game. So whether that be Malik Cunningham and Tutu Atwell, or whether that be Hendon Hooker or Trey Turner, whichever quarterback wide receiver duo shows out better in this game. And ultimately, I also think whichever defense can stop the other quarterback wide receiver duo, I think overall they're going to be able to win the game. This game is also a little bit up in the air for me, just like Florida State again. Could see Florida State going either way. I don't think I mentioned that, but could also see Virginia Tech going either way with the Louisville Cardinals. Overall, I feel like Virginia Tech is the more talented team and the slightly more talented team on defense. That's why they get the slight edge, but it's a home game for Louisville, so could go either way for me. Then a road game against Virginia. So Virginia is losing basically what was their entire offense in Bryce Perkins. I mean, he did everything for that team, and Virginia's defense maybe could improve a little bit, maybe, but I don't see their offense being able to replace Bryce Perkins in 1 year, so I like the Cardinals on the road against the Cavaliers. Then it's a home game against Wake Forest, and I feel like people forget about Wake Forest quarterback. Now, yes, they are losing Jamie Newman to the transfer portal. He has since transferred to Georgia. Wake Forest is losing a lot of guys on defense to the transfer portal as well, but do not forget and do not sleep on Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman is still one of the reasons why Wake Forest had one of the better passing attacks in all of the ACC last year. I believe they were tied for first with, Clemson for the top passing attack in all of the ACC. They were really good last year. Yes, losing Jamie Newman hurts, but Sam Hartman can really sling the football, and he's got some good guys around him that can make some plays. And it's why Wake Forest was a little bit of a surprise team last year. So I don't expect Wake Forest to be as good as they were last year, but also don't sleep on the Demon Deacons. But overall, Louisville's just got too much talent. I think Malik Cunningham is the slightly better quarterback than Sam Hartman, so I'm going to give this one to the Cardinals. Then their last 2 games of the season, they both should be fun games to watch. The first one, road game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and Notre Dame's a team that I really like this year. They're returning their quarterback, Ian Book, but they have to replace wide receiver Chase Claypool and tight end Cole Kmet. And just a lot of guys on defense really need to play at a whole new level for the Fighting Irish. I believe the Irish are going to be a good team this year. And I predicted a win for the Irish against the Louisville Cardinals in my Notre Dame video. So I'm going to stick with that, and I still stand by that to this day. I feel like Notre Dame just is the overall more talented team than Louisville. And by this point, I feel like they have everything figured out. Their defense is playing better. They got guys to replace their losses on offense, and Notre Dame's going to be in full swing by this point, and Louisville's not going to have much of a fighting chance in this one. Then it's the game that we all love to watch, Louisville and Kentucky at the end of the season. So as I mentioned in the intro, Kentucky absolutely killed Louisville last year. It was not even close. This year, I feel like the script is going to be flipped. It's definitely going to be a closer game than it was last year. Kentucky's still going to be a very, very good team. And then Louisville is going to improve from where they were last year, in my opinion, especially on the defensive side. So I feel like this game is going to be very, very close, and I expect a close game. I expect a little bit more of an offensive game than a defensive game. Overall, again, this game could also go 50-50 for me because Kentucky's probably going to have one of the better rushing attacks in the SEC, and Louisville's probably going to have one of the better passing attacks in the ACC. So I think it's going to come down to whichever offense can really play better, and it's just going to be a fun game to watch overall. So now, with everything being said and considered for the Louisville Cardinals, I have them going 8-4. Now, I think 8-4 is pretty reasonable. When you look on their schedule, they got some difficult games. I think I'm going to give them some guaranteed losses, though, to Clemson and to Notre Dame. And then they just – some hard games. I'm slightly favoring Virginia Tech, but again, I could see that game going either way. I'm slightly favoring Louisville against Florida State and Kentucky, but I feel like they're going to drop one of those games. So I think 8-4 is pretty reasonable for the Cardinals. Now let's move on to their record range. What this is, I take this team's worst-case scenario along with their best-case scenario, and that's kind of where I expect them to be this season. So overall, for the Cardinals, their worst-case scenario is 6-6. If Malik Cunningham just not taking a step up from last year, and Tutu Atwell does not perform at the level that he did last year. Louisville is not going to be all that great this year, especially if their defense does not get better. And I could see them just barely making a bowl game. And I mean barely making a bowl game. They're probably going to have immediate bowl eligibility in their first 9 games anyway, I would say. But if Louisville just can't seem to figure things out, I could see them going 6-6. So now their best case scenario for me, for the Louisville Cardinals, is 10-2. Again, as I said in my actual prediction, I give them guaranteed losses on the road at Clemson, on the road at Notre Dame. They're just 2 very tough environments against 2 very good teams. And while I think Louisville can make both games interesting, I don't see a way that they can win either of those games. But other than that, every single game on the schedule is manageable. When you look at the other threats on Louisville's schedule in Florida State, Virginia Tech, and Kentucky, they get them all at home, which is big, and I don't care who you are, what you say, home field advantage is home field advantage, and getting those 3 games at home is absolutely huge for the Cardinals, and I'm going to be surprised if Louisville ends up going 10-2, but it definitely is their best case scenario. But again, my prediction for the Louisville Cardinals is 8-4. So that's going to do it for my schedule preview record prediction for the 2020 Louisville Cardinals. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you're brand new to the channel or just enjoy my content. And if you haven't done so already, please do leave a comment down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Louisville Cardinals. And as always, until next time, remember, play hard, tailgate harder. See y'all in the next video. Goodbye.